Good morning from a cloudy but not raining Southampton, which is most unusual. Um, the autumnal conditions continue, but this has not got in the way of a week of fellowship and a gift of a pipe. Um, I'm smoking some St Bruno Ready Rubbed, a favourite of mine, easily available in what I believe Americans call drugstore. Is it drugstore tobacco? I don't know. Well, what you know. um, Easily available in supermarkets, which are like large stores here, and sometimes, but not very often, in in newsagents. And I bought a packet of St Bruno a long time ago now in a newsagents, and it was so dry. I don't know how long it had been there, but a kind of sign of the times. A wonderful week. Of, as I say, fellowship and and a gift, which was lovely. Which I'm smoking at the moment. It's by a chap called Alexander in Greece. It's Prince, so named after Edward, Prince of Wales, who later became Edward VIII, who, in my opinion and that of history, was a traitor during Germany's advance into France in 1940. He was actually sending in place the order of battle of the British Army to German generals, which is why he got sent off to, I think it was the Bahamas, but he was a Nazi sympathiser, a bitter man, and thank goodness he didn't end up as king. But that's the problem with the hereditary system. You can't choose, can you? But enough of that. I tell you, a little while ago, one of the Australian chaps made a video, and he was talking about it. And it was a picture of the Prince of this Edward VIII smoking a pipe, and I completely lost the plot. I can't stand the guy, and Mrs. Simpson as well, who was also a bit of a Nazi. Um, I A dinner party was held by them years after the war, and he made a very anti-Semitic remark, blaming all of Europe's woes on Jewish people, and the person, to their credit, told him what he thought of him and left the room and left. Yeah, not a very nice. Anyway, but despite that, I love the shape, and I tried to order one from Blakemar, and a couple of weeks ago we went out for the professor's birthday, and Andreas, Blue Pipe Smoker, joined us. Thankfully, the footage of the said event has all been destroyed by him and myself, because things got a little liquefied. um, and anyway, I said I'd been trying anyway. He said, "Oh well." Anyway, so this week on Thursday, Dean came down Dongle, and we went to Clive's, and I'm a bit out of favour because I've been trying to smoke my way through this, as I was telling you, large amount of tobacco, and I haven't been in for a couple of months. I was met with a certain frostiness. It has to be said. It was noted, and I still managed to spend a lot of money when I was there, and still received the frostiness, but never mind. And then we went to the Consul of the Kingdom of Redondo. We adjourned there for drinkies, pipes, and snuff, because the professor arrived and joined us for a while. And then in the evening, after work, Andreas joined us, and excuse me, I just had a piece of toast. I do beg my pardon. That's better. And lo and behold, we well, we were having a nice time, and he said, "I'd like you to have this," which is lovely. Yeah. So there we go. It's kind of a sandblast with a slightly, I'd say, an 18th, I guess, stem, but it's a very nice pipe, and uh, I think the nicest thing you can give somebody, uh, not necessarily a wife unless she smokes a pipe, or unless, well, you might not have a wife, your partner, if they don't smoke a pipe, um, is a pipe. I think a fellow pipe smoker is something you can, you will have for a very long time, unless you're very cavalier in your treatment of your briar. And every time I smoke this pipe now, I shall think of the happy times I've had having a few pints and a bowl or two with Andreas, and yeah, and it was very nice. So we had a nice old time. The professor joined us, as I say, and we got to yarning and chatting, and it's a very nice thing to be able to share a little time with fellow smokers, which is something I miss a great deal. Um, Even to the extent I used to go into clubs, and I'd always allot an hour and a half, 2 hours when I went there, because he's got a little set of steps by his counter, and I'd sit on those, and we'd smoke a bowl and chat, and well, we didn't really talk about pipe smoking, to be honest with you. Talk about cricket, rugby, which are both things that Clive and I are interested in, and some of Clive's views on the world and everything else. And it was a pleasant time, and it's always nice to have a smoke with somebody. Clive can't even smoke in this shop now, and I could have a sample, which is still legal in a specialist tobacconist, but it's not quite the same, is it? Me smoking a sample while Clive can't smoke, and if somebody came in, and you know what people are like, within minutes you'd have some council official round there, you know, readying for court proceedings because he'd smoked and so on. So it's just a bit silly, really. So that's a shame. Also having a meet very soon. Significant guy Paul's coming down to the New Forest for a little holiday, and we're meeting up with him. I shall, I think, introduce him to the delights of the consul of the Kingdom of Redonda. It's a very civilised place to have a pint. Yeah. So anyway, Andreas, I've thanked him obviously in person, but I shall thank you on camera. I love the pipe. It smokes like a treat. Um, Very nice. Also got in the post, beginning of last week, I think, the Pipe Club of London journal for spring 2012. Uh, if you don't live in London, or they have a regular meeting in Essex, I believe, at the Thatcher's Arms, which coincidentally the Handlebar and Moustache people do as well, I believe, and the Beard Club also have a meeting there, but it's a bit out of the way for me. Um, all that talk of whiskers, I had to twiddle my own. Um, you can get a kind of an out of town membership, which is somewhat less than the full membership, but you still get the benefits, and one of them being this wonderful journal. The most fascinating article is from a chap who doesn't actually smoke but collects pipes, which is fair enough. Fair enough. On metal pipes, the chap's name's Tony Pringle. The web address for you is www.smokingmetal.co.uk, and he collects, falcons, but there's, Kirstens, and there's lots of, variations. The Aristocob. I checked out his website, but it's a fascinating article, really dealing more with his kind of history of collecting. His father started the pipe thing going in the pub they owned, and it's a fascinating article. And I know some of you, Rain Dog Pipe, he likes metal pipes, the Falcons one. I can't just say I've tried my best to try and, because I guess when they first came out they were the kind of scientific cutting edge of pipes, but I remember Pipes to Jim. I don't know if anybody remembers Jim. Jim got one because it reminded me of old men, but of course I should imagine when those old men got them, they were old men smoking briar pipes, looking at me, oh, what a load of rubbish. But the old men, the young men then are now old men and smoking the Falcons. I find them aesthetically not pleasing at all, particularly the bent Falcons, which just look bizarre. Um, yeah, not really for me, I'm afraid. I appreciate they might smoke very well. A friend of mine, it was a lovely chap, passed away sadly a few years ago. Not that many years ago actually, just up at the General actually, but a friend from years ago. I knew them from the church I was attending at that time, and he smoked a Falcon, and again he was I guess when I knew sort of in his early 50s, and this is 20 odd years ago, and I guess when he was a young man, he was a RAF pilot, and I guess the Falcon was the kind of cutting edge, and that's what you smoke. But he smelled it, and I just thought it was so ugly. I mean, that to me is beautiful. The bowl. It's just a thing of beauty. Most, not every briar pipe's a thing of beauty, um, but the metal, it's all a bit too industrial and cold and lacks the kiss of the artisan. So anyway, this is going to be a 2 video day today because I'm going to make one about snuff as well, because I haven't done that for a while. Should have got the old professor on board for it, but didn't think. But when people are down, I don't like the video. It's a private time. You're sharing a few pints and whatnot. It gets in the way really. So anyway, if you haven't tried some Bruno, it's I would really recommend it. It's a lovely smoke. The headmaster of a school I went to in Winchester many years ago, called Major Gibbons, he used to smoke some Bruno, and you'd see him in his office with an enormous billiard, belching smoke, and I love the smell. I always liked it. I always wanted, even if I was 12 years old then, I always wanted to smoke a pipe. And it had nothing to do with tobacco. It had, I think, a lot to do with I just, the people I knew that smoked pipes were very nice people and people that I liked. But there we go. My granddad, of course, as well. Okay, everybody. I'm sorry, that's a very sort of brief and not very well. It's a bit cobbled together, but anyway. I'll speak to you all next Sunday. I look forward to your comments and whatnot. And forgive me, I've been with Reg and other things I've got to do. It's taking me about a week to get back to replying to everybody's comments. But I promise you, before each video is made, I will have replied to all comments, however briefly. And I appreciate and enjoy reading them. Okay, so thank you. Bye bye. Reg. Hello, Reg. You tired out? Have I tired you out, Reg? Oh, there you go, Reg. Oh, you're gonna get. Oh, Reg. Oh. Hello, look at that tail. Yeah, Reggers. Well done, mate. There we go. You have to do an appearance. It's traditional. Look at the tail wagging. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Okay.